Qualcuno ci fa segno se possiamo partire. Buonasera a tutti, in italiano velocissima, la serata sarà in inglese, siamo...
Good evening, everyone. Just a few words in Italian, then we'll switch to English. So if you cannot understand English, you can have a headset that you can grab just outside the reception for the simultaneous translation.
Our award, it's a pleasure. We're all excited to find out who the winner is. It's been a fantastic process, and I want to thank OGR, Fondazione CRT, and all the team that has really engaged in this project, which is something quite new for all of us. The art world is looking at the NFT phenomena with fascination, with some doubts and perplexities, but there's no way it can be ignored. When something is engaging so many artists and so much attention in the digital media, it was an important occasion to engage with the project. A few words about the project. During Artissima, our jury, which was Caroline Christoph Bakargiev, who is here in the first row, Daniel Bierbaum and Hans-Ulrich Obrist, selected in the fair 5 artists that were invited to produce an NFT. All the NFTs were uploaded on this new fantastic platform which you see behind me, and the jury, with the collaboration of Samuele Piazza, voted the winner of the award. And also all the 5 NFTs by Darren Bader, Claudia Comte, Matteo Nazini, Sarah Ortmeyer, and Damon Zucconi are visible, and the public can vote their preferred. So at this point, I leave the word to Anna Ferrino, Chief of Fondazione per l'Arte Moderna and Contemporanea CRT.
Thank you, Ilaria. Thank you, everybody. Welcome here in OGR on behalf of CRT Foundation and also on behalf of OGR President Fulvio Gianaria, who is here with us. So it is tonight a very special occasion, marking the conclusion of a long journey that began months ago when Ilaria proposed to our foundation to co-produce a highly innovative project. The conversation on the entry of NFT into the art system had already taken place following the renewed BIPO operation. We were at the very beginning of this phenomenon, and at that time there had yet not been a fair that had seriously dealt with it. The Foundation has always believed the importance to experiment new expressive phenomena explored through Artissima, and recognized the importance as well of funding visionary projects that can fully explore the evolution of the creative languages of contemporary art. Since its establishment, Fondazione Arte Moderna Contemporanea CRT has distinguished itself as an institution capable of looking with interest at the future. New frontiers and visual experiments nowadays descend into the digital world are a phenomenon that contaminates every area, including art. This ambitious and unconventional project focus on this newly inspiring technique has been achieved thanks to the collaboration with distinguished art chain representatives and embodies several distinctive and innovative features. I will mention just a few. The relationship. Galleries showing at Artissima were involved in the commission process and participated with their artists in this creative project from the very beginning. The challenge. Participating artists have been willing to test themselves with this new exciting medium. The acquisition, the winning work, will be purchased in the current currency and not in Bitcoin. Last but not least, the crucial aspect that we saw in this project stands in the significant opportunity to create a bridge with OGR Tech, the place where we are tonight, where the new bands of the blockchain get discussed every single day. Sorry, there is an existing connection between the project Surfing NFT and the OGR Award that we will finally proclaim today. The winning work will become part of our collection. It will be displayed and in an inventive exhibition itinerary and made available to the public and experts. On behalf of the Foundation, I would like to thank Artissima for its outstanding commitment on this project, and allow me to thank Ilaria on behalf of the board, the actual board of CRT Foundation and the whole board as well, of this 5 beautiful cooperation journey we had when she's a director, was a director of Artissima, and I'm really sure it will continue with Fasti, the new director that we are very happy to welcome on board, and all the members of this project that gave a really outstanding commitment to the project. LCA Studio and the Art Shell platform that without them the project would not have been possible. So I'm also would like to extend our gratitude to the excellent jurors who have evaluated the works, and to the artists and galleries owners who have taken on this bet with us and created these works with commitment and passion. So, best wishes to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Now I pass the word to Luigi Fasti, director of Artissima. If 2 popes can exist together, we can have 2 directors of Artissima on stage. It doesn't happen often.
No, thank you, Ilaria. Thank you, Ilaria. And thank you, Anna. I mean, it's such a great opportunity to be here because, you know, I basically started working as a director of Artissima some 20 days ago. And I immediately had the chance to come across such an inspiring project as the Surfing NFT, you know, which gave me a chance to fully, you know, sort of dive into the Artissima mood and the kind of digitization of art and art production, which has been so generously supported in recent years, more and more by the Fondazione CRT since, I think, 2017, with establishment of the OGR Award, and the last year with a Beyond Production model, which is aimed precisely at creating new opportunity for artists to produce new works according to new technology. So I can tell you that we are going to bring forth such a model, you know, by further exploring the possibilities offered by Beyond Productions, and so generally is made possible by the Fondazione CRT support and generosity. And so we are already working on that. So we're gonna share more soon to envision what we're going to do next in the 29th edition of Artissima, happening in November 22. We just announced the dates a couple of days ago. So Artissima is going to take place between November 3rd and November 6th. So this is official yet. We have a theme, transformative experience, which is something related also to the way in which art is able to transform all of us, and also the way in which art is you know, sort of transforming its way of production and presentation to a larger audience. So I do look forward to the upcoming edition of Artissima, and I'm really happy to be here and share with you all the surprises we're going to come across tonight. So thank you, Anna, and thank you, Ilaria.
Thank you, Luigi. And now I welcome on stage with me our important partners who have supported. So please join us. From LCA Studio Legale, Maria Grazia Longoni and Miriam Loropiana, and Bernabò Visconti di Modrone, founder of Art Shell. So Bernabò, is there a microphone coming? We'll start with Bernabò. Actually, this project started from a conversation with me and Bernabò before the summer. When the first time I went to the office saying we could do something with NFT, the look in my team was of doubt and perplexity. But by July, we were already fully engaged. It's been an intense project because, like Anna was saying, we played, but we played in a way breaking some of the rules of this world of NFT. So playing on a platform, but without cryptocurrencies, and so. But Bernabò will tell us a little bit about the development of the project and where he decided to help us store the NFTs and all the issues linked to it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ilaria. Thank you, Artissima. And thank you, the OGR and LCA, and to the whole team that helped us actually build this platform and exploring this new world. As Ilaria tell, actually we start focusing on NFT on late last year, and we're exploring this new technology that is really great. We think it's could open new world, new opportunity to the art market. It's really interesting about this project how artists find new solution and experiment this new technology. We're gonna see later all the artworks and everything. I don't want to tell you everything about the technology because it's really boring, but we choose for this project a blockchain that is eco-friendly. So we focus on art, we focus on the legal aspects, and also we focus on the eco-friendly side of the blockchain. Everyone knows that right now the blockchain is really not the, environmental friendly solution. So we try to find something that can be made as well in that side. So thank you again for this invitation and for let us play and explore this technology.
Thank you. And now I pass the word to LCA Studio Legale, because without them we wouldn't have the NFTs, because smart contracts are the big deal behind how these digital works are sold and exchanged. Please, tell us a little bit about it.
Good evening. Thank you for the invitation. We are pleased to be here, and we are very proud to have taken part to this amazing project, Surfing NFT. The very structured art law department of LCA Studio Legale had the opportunity to join its 30 years long experience as a consultant in the art world, and it's achieved expertise in technological innovation. This was possible thanks to a melting different categories of lawyers with different age, and this is a characteristic of our law firm. So the legal team was composed by Francesco De Ruggeris, which unfortunately couldn't be here, by me, the oldest, and by Miriam Loropiana, and it's a pleasure for me to introduce her to you. Let me say that for me was really astonishing and fantastic to work with my team and with all the participants of this fantastic project. Thank you.
Thank you. Miriam, now to the contracts.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It's, of course, such a great pleasure to be here. And I must begin saying that I truly agree with Maria Grazia, which means that I think, too, that this project is revealing the nature of our law firm, of what we are. We like to say that we have roots in the art world, but also we have wings that spread to the embracing the innovation technology and, of course, the challenges that comes along with innovation technology. Mixing art and NFTs is nowadays not just asking ourselves if it's possible to do something with art and NFT, but also and especially what we can do in order to create NFTs which preserves the rights of the artist, and if I may add, also of the collectors and of the purchaser of the NFTs. This is the question that LCA and Arshel we bore in mind the whole time, from the drafting of the call to action to the discussion about the architecture of the so-called flow of the minting platform and of the smart contract behind the NFT. We can say that as lawyer because we often see that people, both professional and just enthusiasts, like to just jump into the NFT world without asking themselves which are the legal consequences and the facts behind the NFT, just wanting to be on point, and this is quite a big mistake. But we can, of course, say that this has not been the case. We had the great pleasure to work with Artissima, which splendidly managed the call to action during the fair in November. We worked with the Fondazione CRT, which decided to be a pioneer and to subside the project. And of course, Bernabò and Arshel said that to us, the galleries and the artists have been very cooperative and completely understood the effort behind this kind of project. And if I may say, and I conclude, I do not think that the fact there was an all-female leadership based on this project, that it's not a case that has gone so well and was so thoroughly talking about, but it's not up to me to say. So let's say that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Okay, at this point, I ask you to return to your places. We want to hear a little bit from the artists about their projects, and I invite Matteo Nazini, who's the only artist who made it physically here, but being an NFT project, physical or phygital were considered the same. We'll go in alphabetical order. So first, I'll ask Darren Bader, represented by Franco Noero Gallery, to tell us about his project. And I thank Franco Noero, who's here with us in the first row with his beautiful daughter.
I want to see Felicita. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Bene. Okay, hello everyone. I want to thank everyone involved in this project. It's been a lot of fun. I had a history of minting. Can you hear me? I'm hearing a lot of voices.
Yes, but we can't see. Now we see you. Okay, great.
Yeah, look at me and all my... I was hoping to video, but the internet connection here isn't good enough. Just want to say thank you to everyone. Minting NFTs for too long, which is not very long at all. But my project speaks to this, and I hope that the description that I've included with the NFT, which you can see on this NFT platform, fills in a lot of the blanks. It's meant to be elusive, and elusive, two ways to spell that. And I prepared a video that may or may not fill in some blanks, but I'd like to play it for you instead of talking. And yeah, thank you again.
Thank you, Darren, and we'll see the video. Or will you share it with us on your screen, or are we going to play it?
I believe you will be playing it.
Okay, thanks. Here we go.
Bello.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Darren. And yes, it was a bit fast to read everything. We might have to ask you to share it with us again, but we got the sense of what you were saying and who's looked at his project. Darren really takes you on a kind of pilgrimage inside the digital world from one platform to the other in this infinite journey of losing oneself. At this point, I'll call on virtual stage Claudia Comte, and I thank Valeria Schäfer, who's here from Koenig Gallery in the first row. Claudia, are you with us? If Claudia is not with us, maybe we start with Matteo, who is a physical person sitting next to me, and we'll connect Claudia after. Okay, Matteo.
Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, thank you, and soon we'll have you. Okay, thank you. Nice to see you, Claudia.
Hello. Hi, nice to see you too. Can you hear me fine?
Very well.
Okay, super.
So here we are. It would be great if you told us a little bit about your NFT and the process of minting it.
Yeah, to explain you about the work, the piece is really about the changing climate and the codependencies of the various species on Earth. I started initially my research with the simple form of the cactus. One life form growing in extreme habitat that could potentially evoke the future of our planet since it represents dryness, etc. And later, my research took me below the sea level through a residency at the Alligator's Head Foundation in Jamaica, where I learned a lot about corals and how vital they are to us breathing and living. And now for this NFT, I wanted to refer directly to the pieces I have shown on the booth at the fair, which were a group of sculptures I presented for the first time and were representing leaves. As you can see behind me in the studio, we have a cactus, a few corals, and one of the leaves of the animation. And since more than 15 years, I carve all those sculptures out of wood with a chainsaw and sand them down until they get a very fine and smooth surface. And for the animation, then I 3D scanned the pieces so that here the animation take the digital object files made from 3 of the sculptures I exhibited in Artissima last year. And then they get subject to a series of environmental forces, in this case, wind and lava. So the work is made from physically based simulations. They are algorithms measuring cause and effect, mapping natural phenomena in computer simulation software. And the animations were made in collaboration with the computer science department of the University of Freiburg. I work with these scientists since 2018, where I have produced a series of 4D animation of physically based simulations. And those guys are exploring amazing things. They physically based simulations examine collapsing biosystem, potential catastrophe, and weather patterns. It's something used regularly in engineering, computational medicine, and entertainment, and so on and so forth, video game, animation, and all. And so to conclude, for me, the aim of this work was really now to create a link between the physical and virtual spaces in which these sculptures have been shown.
Thank you very much, Claudia, very inspiring. And now to Matteo Nazini, who's here with us.
Buonasera a tutti. Ecco, allora, questo...
Good evening, everyone. This is the NFT that you are looking at, a project I've been working on for the last 18 months, more or less. The project's name is Welcome Wandering, a multimedia installation that can turn into audio and video, the astral transit above it. And this is an installation that cannot be stopped. It's continuously moving. And when producing this NFT, well, this is what made it possible to basically stop it. It's 1,440 images, basically over 24 hours. That's the stars and astral transit just above the Fondazione CRT. But so the aim was to stop the execution of the installation in real time while visualizing a single image of the astral transit on one day. So the idea was to create something that could be seen and heard, really making us understand to what extent we are all connected and that we are all together on the very same planet, looking at these, far away stars of the Milky Way, and also through the sound, if it was possible to, create this feeling of union. That was my aim when thinking of this work. So the contemporary history, so these days history, is contradicting my hope. So these days I'm really feeling frustrated also as to my work and as to, reflecting upon these themes. But at the same time, well, beyond the actions that we can put into place to help people under these very difficult conditions, we as artists, we have to hold to our ideas while trying to process, to give our own contribution, a new contribution also in this difficult situation. Thank you, Matteo.
The project started in your gallery was really stunning. So once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And now we call virtually with us Sarah Ortmeyer from Dvir Gallery. And maybe we didn't say that Matteo works with Klima Gallery, who was supposed to be with us, but due to still imperversing COVID was locked at home, but we thank him for his support. Sarah, please, to you, and if you want to tell us about your project.
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much. I really appreciate being together with you all in this room. The work I'm showing, it's called Diabolos, Guardian Devil. And we live in a shadowless area, and even now we are connected through our phones, through light, and I wanted to bring the shadow in the forefront again. And I just, I'm really sad that we are doing this event during a war, and for me, the piece is today just about a guardian devil, and I think that's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And yes, your words, this war is putting a climate of sadness on an evening that could be a great celebration. And we really hope that art can resist, and in a way, even in a country at the moment which is torn, and can have a space, because art makes people better and lets them look at the world in a better way. And now, Damon Zucconi, represented by Veda, who Gianluca Gentili is here with us. Thank you for being here. Damon, please tell us about your work.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. So yeah, the work here, Counting Frame, is a dynamic piece of software that I've written. So it's running in the browser. And so it's not a static animation or a video. This means that there's an indeterminate and unique set of operations that execute whenever it's opened, and that it just doesn't end, it keeps going. It's of an indeterminate length. And just to kind of describe the work formally, what's going on here in the frame, the work is a semi-abstracted abacus. If you're unfamiliar, the abacus is perhaps the oldest calculating tool in existence. And it's a frame that holds freely moving beads. Those beads represent digits, which a user of the tool manipulates in order to perform basic arithmetic. And so what the work is doing here is executing a very simple algorithm. We choose a random power of 10. Each power of 10 is represented by a column on the abacus. And then we choose a random number within that power of 10 range, and then the abacus executes a calculation in order to move from where we currently are to that chosen number. So either performing addition or subtraction, depending on the current state. And so in doing so, you just move the device through all the possible states it can be in with this constant accumulation or removal, this constant mutation. And so you could see a small readout of the operations on the top left in Arabic numerals, which is more or less intended as like an accessibility feature, so that when it's ambiently running, a viewer can sort of build up an intuition about how the encoding works. One of the things I've been thinking about is how the immutability of the blockchain and thereby the immutability of work on it is sort of considered a primary feature. And this doesn't have to be the case, but there is some intrinsic pressure, particularly on some NFT platforms, for instance, to make use of things like content address storage for assets associated with an NFT, which sort of means that they can't be changed or updated in the future. And so these platforms start to codify this notion that, you know, what you see is what you buy, and what you buy will always remain the same in perpetuity, rather than sort of accepting the more radical promise of buying an online work, which is that it is always subject to change. And so, like, I was thinking a lot about the etymological origins of that word abacus. One of them is a square tablet strewn with dust. Another is sand used as a writing surface. And I like these roots a lot as they sort of highlight the device's mutable nature. Beads represent this fleeting notion of a number as it moves through a calculation in your head and through your hand into its position on the frame. And it's like a palimpsest, this surface constantly being reshaped by the user. And so, to me, I'd like to think of this work as like a small pocket of, or like a small monument to mutability, to replicate in this like extremely dumbed down and almost cartoonish fashion an aspect of the underlying blockchain, which is proof of work, but draw it down to like human legibility and speed, and then to just like completely detach it from actual use. It's as if it were a haunting. It has no memory and like no direction. It's just this current internal state, which is constantly shifting, performing these like childlike feats of arithmetic. And so I think I can just leave it there, and thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Matteo. And now I ask to join me on stage the members of the jury who are physically present. Caroline Christoph Bakargiev, Director of Castello Rivoli Museo d'Arte Contemporanea, and Samuele Piazza, Senior Curator of OGR Torino. And we will have connected with us remotely Hans Ulrich Obris, Artistic Director of Serpentine Galleries in London, and Daniel Beerbaum, Artistic Director of Acute Art in London. And now, before we keep you waiting, we tell you who is the winner. We would like to ask our jury to tell us something a little bit about, you know, engaging in this process, NFTs, their reflections, the discussions of the jury that I had the luck of listening to were really stimulating. And it was exciting that they were so engaged. Yeah. So,
can I say a few words?
Yes, go Daniel.
Yeah, so it's interesting times. I'm joining you from Paris, and as you can see, actually driving through the city. And this is a strange situation that the pandemic had speeded up all these possibilities. You know, the digitalization of our way of communicating and of inhabiting the planet together. And of course, it's also meant a lot for art. And I think I've been very excited to be part of this because it's, as far as I know, the first competition of its kind. I think in once or twice every century there is a new medium arriving. And remember what happened to art when photography was introduced, and then came cinema and the video camera and the internet and television. And with each new technical possibility, art of course changes. And here we are, celebrating a piece which is a digital piece and even, anchored in the blockchain. And I think it's a very interesting project. So, that's what I would want to say as an introduction, that, I think our times are changing and art is changing. And this competition is very timely.
Thank you, Daniel. And Hans, you want to tell us about your experience? Hans just left us. An experiment on disappearing. Back. Can you hear us, Hans? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. I don't see anything. I don't know if the video is working.
It is, it is.
Great, so you can see me. No, so thank you so much. And as Daniel said, it has been a wonderful experience for us in this jury to be part of the OGR Award. We think it's a particularly important initiative because it also shows us that art and technology can be more than what very often is now discussed in relation to NFT, which is questions of the market. And of course, NFTs are a lot, in the headlines for a sort of a market dimension. But I think it's very, very important that we think about it, what it can mean for public institutions, what it can mean for the public, what it can mean for decentralization, what it can also mean for democratization of art. And of course, that is why it is so wonderful that through this project, actually, NFTs can enter collections for the public, and that it is also possible for artists to actually, who have not worked with this medium before, to make experiments. And I mean, Billy Kluver, following also what Daniel said, Billy Kluver talked a lot about experiments in art and technology. And I think now in the 21st century, we have this possibility of new experiments in art and technology. So we go from eat to need. And I think all the artists really who have participated in this project and all the finalists have done such new experiments, and it was a very difficult decision to find a winner because we think actually everyone is a winner and want to congratulate all the artists for their wonderful contribution to this project. I also think that it's great that in Torino this happens because, of course, Torino is the city of many great artists, and it's the city of Alighiero Boetti. And I always remember that Alighiero Boetti actually told me that we need to find new circuits, no? We need to find new possibilities how art can travel, new circuits for art. It was the time, a very different time. It was the time when fax was invented in the second part of the 80s when I spoke to Alighiero. And Alighiero had actually this idea of an agenzia fax. He was thinking that one could send artworks every day by fax to many people all over the world. It could be a bit like a fax exhibition. So I was thinking about that today, and I was thinking, a lot has been said about what Andy Warhol would do with NFT. I think it's interesting in Torino today, in March 2022, to think about what maybe Alighiero Boetti would do today with NFT. Thank you all so much, and congratulations to all the artists.
Thank you, Hans. And now, Samuele, please tell us a little bit about your experience.
Well, it was a pleasure to join such a committee. And, well, I'm speaking from the point of view of OGR. And so, we are a space that tries to mix and match between art and technology. And I think in the tech part, where we are all now, the discussion about blockchain and, like, of course, from the point of view of technicians, is like something they are working on currently. And I think as people working in the cultural sector, we don't want them to be alone, like reflecting on this, on the limits and on potentiality of a new medium. And so I think inviting artists, as we have heard from their living voice, like thinking about what working on NFTs and blockchain and smart contracts might be, is actually challenging the medium and probably opening up new possibilities. So I think, yeah, that's great. And I think it will be just the first step in like a closer collaboration between tech and art on the part of OGR.
Thank you very much, Samuele. And now, please, Caroline, who was in Torino guiding our jury for the selection of the 5 artists and is now here with us tonight.
Thanks. Okay, avvio questo cronometro. Okay, because I have 3 minutes, right?
Yeah, well, if you take 4, we're happy anyway.
Well, that's okay. I want to stay in 3. Thank you. Everybody's been speaking in English. I thought I might revert to Italian, and so continuerò in italiano.
Because I always try to speak Italian properly when I'm in Italy. It's this has been a really interesting experience. I'd like, first of all, to thank Ilaria for thinking, for imagining such a project, and also the CRT Foundation, the OGR, and it's been a lot of fun working with Daniel and with Hans within this project. It's been a huge pleasure for me. And there are actually many things to be said. I don't know where I should start, actually, because I think that NFTs and the digital art has sped it up due to the COVID pandemic. At the time of Beeple, before Beeple, nobody knew about NFT well before October, November last year. Metaverse, I think that is the NFT worth 69 million euros. That was maybe February 2021, and there was a test for this work being sold in December 2020.
È semplicemente una.
And as you all know, it's simply a digital contract certifying just one thing, that is not the work of art, but it's a work of art that everyone can have. So people does not think that NFT is the medium. It's just a certificate. Digital art for people has to deal with the thinking, the technique that is rendering that is important for digital art. So you can maybe have a very interesting work from a conceptual standpoint, but if it's not arising from a Prometheus challenge, like the software that is being used, and a sort of competition in terms of rendering, making it a very human activity. So digital art is somehow is mankind challenging machines. Refik Anadol is very popular, so it's not simply a matter of NFTs per se, but it's the craft, I would say, of digital art which matters in the industry of digital art. Now we also have a conceptual arts area, so the one working on smart contracts only. This is something that we could not have in this for the OGR Award, but many of the best artists are now trying to understand how to intervene in smart contracts to remove this unicity of this static work. But it's Well, I still have almost 2 minutes, so I can still say something. Sorry, I got lost. Ilaria, where was I? So NFTs that... So non-fungible tokens, okay, but of the very same digital content, you can make maybe 10,000 NFTs because it will be 10,000 unique certificates of the very same object. But it's more interesting to think that artists from the conceptual art are working to modify, to change these smart contracts. It's 3,000 lines, so it really doesn't take much to look at the smart contracts. It's about 3,000 lines if you want to read it thoroughly. But it's like a web page, maybe 20 years ago. So what will happen? It's exactly what has happened to develop a full website starting from a single web page. So we're just at the beginning. But this has nothing to do with the word of the medium, of the artistic medium, because from this standpoint, what is now being sold is digital contents. Could be a sound, an image, an algorithm, collecting data from social media and so on. So all this stuff before NFTs was called new media arts, and that was born in 1965 with the first Panjum Pact, the Pope, and the road. So was where this media art was born. Now it has just a different name. But why? Because we have learned the formulation used by artists, digitalizing, so from land art to installations to sculpture and painting. Well, that is called traditional art. So the language to talk about this is changing, but this is just part of the history of the art dealing with technology that Hans was also underlining. So from a certain standpoint, it's just the same mindset that was there right after pop art, so the end of the 50s, when cybernetics was really popular, and the Mexican, and then Bateson, and there was a true hype around technological art that, and this until the crisis in 1967, and then everything was started from the scratch. This is the ups and downs and cycles of the history of art, which is never linear. But anyway, the last thing I wanted to say is that NFT per se is quite new, because the first CryptoPunks were given for free. It's those 10,000 originals with the hat, with the cap, and that were just, given away for free. It was not, they were not sold on the market. And then in 2018, the first CryptoPunk was sold, and we now know that the rarest ones are managed differently. Well, there is a matter of identification, because I always want to analyze art as a system, also from the sociological standpoint, philosophical standpoint, let me say, because there is a whole generation of people coming from the tech world that are interested in a kind of art that can represent them. And then Vinyage that has alias Metacoven, and another interesting thing is this. So blockchain says that tells us who is the owner, but we don't know who Metacoven is. So it's also a way to be to stay hidden, to disguise identity. So to summarize, these new collectors are a little bit like Carnegie and Guggenheim at the end of the 19th century, because they had earned a lot of money by that time with the new industry, and they really gave a lot to the culture. They really changed the way of thinking with involving libraries and museums and theaters, because they were still aware that they were, you know, quite poor before making that money, and they wanted to give something back to the society. And this also makes me think about the new rich today, and the investments and these new forms of art and crypto and everything relating to this. It's not just crypto, because crypto has already been discussed. So the problem of Ethereum is that it's a high it's not eco-friendly because it costs too much in terms of energy use, but this is something that we can use. We have the nuclear in Turin. This is nuclear power with no waste, and I think this is the future because this is eco-friendly, and this can save also less consuming energy. Well, thank you, Caroline. And I.
Do you want to join us here? Caroline, stay. You're not staying? You're staying. You have to stay. Yes. Okay, shall we all stand?
I think it's the moment to stand.
It's the moment to stand. So, here we are. So, how are...
So let's, Samuel and I announce
the winner, and Caroline will tell us the motivation and why.
Make the statement of the jury, and let's do that. So, we are very pleased to announce that the winner of OGR Award 2021 is
Damon Zucconi.
And now Caroline will read the motivation of the jury.
Okay, so on behalf of the entire jury, Daniel Birnbaum, Hans-Ulrich Obrist, Samuele Piazza, and of course myself, we unanimously award Damon Zucconi, represented by Veda Gallery in Firenze, for the way his NFT evokes the history of calculation through the Abacus, a physical object here transformed into something immaterial, bringing to mind our world made of bits and lines of code. There is something surreal in this work, since it brings together the early Abacus, which you see with your eyes, and the capacity of the digital to calculate high numbers, thus highlighting the different ways in which we attribute value to numbers. In Counting Frame, Zucconi uses the abacus as a way of anchoring the contemporary possibility of visual production and distribution to ancient techniques and tools. The abacus becomes hypnotic, mesmerizing, capturing the attention in an infinite loop.
Thank you very much to the jury. Damon, you want to say something?
Wow, I mean, thank you so much. Thank you to Artissima, and, the judges and everybody involved here. And thanks to Veda as well. I mean, if anything, it's just an honor to be included amongst such beautiful and thoughtful works. And, you know, I've been making work online for over 20 years now, really most of my life. And so it's really enheartening and exciting, this recent swell of interest in the field. And I hope it continues. And just thank you again.
Thank you. But don't leave us, because it was so difficult to find the winner that actually the jury has a special mention.
Yeah, exactly. So the jury agrees in awarding Matteo Nazini, represented by Clima Gallery in Milan, an honorable mention with the following statement. So, the artist is a master of sophisticated digital craft, which through rendering transforms a small image into something that allows you to experience the universe, making Nazini a true world builder.
Thank you so much.
And now, before we close our evening with some photos, and we will invite the galleries to join us for the photos, are there any questions in the public?
Please do some question, otherwise Caroline will be very sad.
Oh, I love questions.
Any questions? Where can you buy?
Good point. You can't.
The piece that wins is OGR's CRT collection, OGR, and is not available anymore, which is what happens when artworks enter public collections. But the other artworks will be available for sale, obviously on digital platforms, because they're made to be NFTs.
Yeah, but that's a very good question. That's a smart question. Because indeed, it doesn't make any sense to mint an NFT and not have it go and get flipped and so on. It is absolutely a good question. So I highly recommend that next year you mint 2, so that you can just put one on the, and it's like a real NFT. Because to be a real NFT, you have to be on the market. That's, I think, the nature of this medium in a way.
Yes.
We will think about.
Matteo, do you want to say something?
Vorrei ringraziare, è stato
I'd like to thank you. It's been a beautiful experience. I'd like to say something, because among all artists, your capacity, your ability to work with the rendering is really amazing. Because you really, we really see that you have, you really master this craft. Yes, it also depends on the fact that this project is a totally a digital native project. So we've studied a lot about how to make this project run on computers that do not cost millions of euros. So this rendering, well, I've shown this work to people, and people also said that your rendering is just beautiful, very beautiful. And that's why I like to now have the gallery owners for the final picture. So thank you everyone for your support, and thanks to the artists once again. So please join us for a final picture. Thank you.
Ci avviciniamo. Let's get closer.
Yeah, I'd like to say something. Can I say something in favor of all the projects?
Yes. In qua?
Should we say how great all the projects were?
Yeah.
How do we do that?
E ancora un ringraziamento and a special thank you to all the artists, because it was really difficult to select. It was we had a Sunday night of discussions, and we have to thank all the artists for their effort, their time, and the galleries and all the support, because we had to really dive and rush. It seems like Artissima was a long time ago, but actually it's not so fast, and it was a great adventure. And thank you everyone for your time, support, energy, and enthusiasm. Please, can the team join us? So Bernabò.
Thanks to our partners. Without you, the project wouldn't be possible.
E anche Fulvio.
And the OGR president, please
join us.
Can you join us for a picture?
And turn my mic off. If not, I can't talk to anyone anymore. Buona serata a tutti.